and welcome to my channel. I'm Mandi Grace, author of 10 novels so far. Welcome to the return of my mid-month chit-chats. Technically, I don't think this is return. I did one last month, didn't I? Sort of. It wasn't like this. I didn't set up the camera. I was hiding in the laundry room, like holding the camera for that entire experience. Pretty sure. I have a vague memory of that. I might have been in this shirt. Oh no. I should look that up. It was red, wasn't it? Oh, it might have been this shirt. Maybe I have a uniform now. I was gonna, listen, at one point in time, I was going to have a uniform for these videos because I was gifted this cute question mark shirt situation. It's totally fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with this shirt. But it's not something I would typically wear. I'm a very, like, not fun dresser. Very calm. Listen, in the summer, I wear t-shirts which often have some sort of graphic on it, like my hedgehogs blue shirt that has hedgehogs hugging on it. You know, so like I do t-shirts in the summertime. And in the fall/winter when it's chilly, which it's starting to be because it's the middle of September, I wear, with the exception of this one, which is bright red and has a T-Rex on it, I wear a lot of solid dark blues and solid grays. Sometimes striped grays. If I really want to branch out and look larger than I am. So, like, my wardrobe is, like, very limited. It's the block colors, the colors being blue, dark blue, mind you, and gray, and I have one purple shirt, but it's developed a hole, so I should probably stop wearing it. Anyway, yes, so what I'm saying is, the shirt was, like, a thing. There was, like, this print on it. You know? Anyway, so I was gifted this shirt, and it is cute, but it's not what I typically wear. So I can't imagine myself just donning it for a day. I'd have to work myself into being someone who wears fashion, you know? I can't, like, jump straight into it. I have to, like, ease my way into it. So, I can't imagine myself wearing it, but it is cute. And I didn't want to, like, just get rid of it because it was a nice gift. Anyway, so basically, I was like, I'll just start wearing that for my mid-month chit-chats. And then I stopped doing mid-month chit-chats, and then I didn't do that. So there was a time when I was going to have a uniform, basically. But this wasn't it. And this was accidental if, in fact, I was wearing the same thing. Let's go to my videos. Oh, nope, it's a different red shirt. It's a t-shirt. It's my... this girl's not afraid of anything except for heights and spiders and birds or something. I don't remember. I'm not actually afraid of all those things. I'm only afraid of spiders. My sister gifted me that shirt because of I'm not afraid of anything except for spiders, which was funny. But it also lists other things, which I now feel obligated to be afraid of. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. Sorry, there was Velcro on the floor. Welcome to the playroom. I don't know what that came off of. Hi. So if this feels a little chaotic for you, and this is your first video here, this is an honest look at what all of my other videos are like. This is what you're in for if you plan to stick around. Yes. So hi, this is my mid-month chit-chat. This is a video where I don't really have a plan or a script of any kind. I just set up the camera and then I talk at it. Giving general life updates, writing updates, reading updates, etc. So we'll start with reading updates. Seems like a place to start. Haven't really been reading for pleasure per se. I am getting back into doing my one book a month on writing craft or professional development, which for like 3 years, 2 years, a number of years, I was doing every single month, one book a month, which was a blast. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. And then this year I really fell off the bandwagon in all of the ways. I think last year trying to write all of the Robin Hood books and then publish all of the Robin Hood books, I might have burnt myself out just a little bit. Not like entirely, like I didn't go into the pit of burnout, but like I was sliding that direction. So anyway, I stopped doing the book of the month situation, but I've been getting back into it. So I've been reading No Perfect Kids, which is professional development for my nanny slash preschool life. It's written towards moms, but that totally counts. Actually, I have been learning from it, and there are things I can apply to my nanny situation specifically, so yeah, anyway, it's been really good. That was my book back in May, question mark, when I stopped doing this. So I've been reading that and getting back into it. I have also been reading Dear Writer, Are You in Burnout by Becca Syme. That is the book club book for my writing community, Quill and Cup. It's been amazing. So good. I love it. Yep, that's what I have to say about it. It's amazing. Everybody needs to read it. If you're a writer, read this book. If you're not a writer, read it anyway, because the burnout stuff still applies. Yeah, it's very good. So I've been reading 2 nonfiction books. And then I read an entire novel, but not for pleasure per se, but because of my book coaching thing, which we'll get into in a second. So I did read a novel, but not really. I mean, yes, but no. Anyway, yeah, I haven't really been reading anything else, so that's the reading world. We'll segue into the book coaching since I brought it up already. Brief history. I can't do brief. I talk too much. But back in Chicago, as if that gives you any context. Back in June, I was at a writing retreat in Chicago, and it was brought up that I could be a writing coach, and I thought, y'all are crazy. Yes, the writers in my writing community were very encouraging, and were very like, this is a thing you could do. You would be good at it. And I was like, please stop talking to me. I'm gonna cry. So I did cry, in fact, but anyway, since then I have been like doing some research and trying to see if this is a thing I'd be interested in doing. Turns out it is something I'm interested in doing. I'm really enjoying the aspect of coaching. I would like to get certified, get training, so I can like officially be a book coach and like, you know, do the business side of things and get a business license or like I want to do this for realsies. I think I would really enjoy it. It would also be work. It's already been work, which I'll get into, but like I do think I would enjoy it. It would be fulfilling and satisfying. It would also pay my bills in a way that my novels don't. I make money off my books in the sense that I get paid, but I don't make money off my books. I make spending change in a month, you know. And at some point, the following that I have might grow. I might be making more money, but I don't think I would ever make enough to quit a day job, which is what I want to do. So, yeah, the idea that I could do this, like, actual business that I would also enjoy. I mean, you don't have to enjoy your work, but, like, I would. I could make money being a full-time author. Yes, please, sign me up. So, that is my plan. It's like a 10-year plan, because I don't want to try and do this overnight. Typically, I'm a lofty goal, let's do that tomorrow kind of person, but I'm trying really hard not to be that person anymore, and to take my time and to do it correctly. So, to that end, we've been doing a lot of book coaching research. I was almost going to say book research, but then I thought about it and there was a missing word there. Doing a lot of research. I'm looking into taking the Author Accelerated course to get certified, but can't do that yet. So I'm put it off until 2024, and then I'll reassess if I can do it or not. And then, in the meantime, I'm back. Camera died. I did take on a client. I don't know what to call her. She's not a client in the sense that she's paying for what I'm offering. So it's not really a client. But like she's a practice client. But it's not practice in the sense of like I'm not actually coaching, because I am. Basically, one of the writers in my writing group agreed to be my guinea pig. She's trying to publish a book, so I'm going to coach her through it. So we've met 3 times now. I've read her book. Yeah, when working through this like coaching thing, I'm working out kinks of like how to coach. Hopefully she's getting benefit from it, and like it's actually a good thing on her side. For me, it's been helpful to figure out this whole coaching thing and like how it's going to work. So yeah, that's been happening. It's been good. It has been a lot of work, but it's also been, like, it's been, I don't know, not stressful work, you know? I've been very, very busy with the nanny job and the preschool job and the writing stuff and, like, possibly almost being burnt out and, like, things. I've been exhausted. So much of my time is just filled up with stuff. And I did not take my summer break that I usually take. I was working through most of the summer, so I never had a chance to breathe and reset and let's go. Which is what I do every summer. I know that I need that. I do that. I go to the farm and I don't do anything and it's good, but I didn't do that, and then it was just stress, right? But this hasn't been like, oh my gosh, more stress. It's been like, this is going to take time and work and effort, but I'm enjoying it. I'm hopefully offering value to someone. I'm learning from this. It's just a growing experience for everybody involved. I feel good about it. But also it does take time and work and stuff. Anyway, but because of the way that it is work, but it's not stressful, that's what made me think I could actually do this for a living if I'm not doing the nanny and the preschool job at some point in the next 10 years, right? Because that's what my projected goal is. 10 years from now, I'll be doing this full time. Anyway, if I'm not doing the nanny and the preschool stuff at some point in the future, I have a whole day, every day, to fill with what I choose to fill it with. So I will have time, because right now I cannot take on another client. One is more than enough. But when I have the time, I could take on more. I could take on enough to pay my bills. I'd be enjoying it. It would be work but fulfilling. And then also I could write. And like I could just do book-related things all day, every day, be my own boss. The whole thing sounds amazing. So that is the plan. So that's what we're working towards. I have 2 minutes till the prickle. Okay, so debating whether to rush through this or to come back afterwards and finish filming. Probably come back afterwards because y'all know I like to talk a lot. So I'm gonna go write for about an hour, and then I will come back and I will give you writing updates. I think that's it. So yeah, sit tight. No. Hello, I'm back. It's been a little over an hour. My neck hurts so much. Oh, I should see a chiropractor. Anyway, I was sitting at the couch instead of at a table because it was cozier. I don't know. But then also when I was like doing this in order to look at my laptop, and it was a problem. And here we are. Writing updates. I didn't write on that prickle. I was actually reading my critique partner's things. I adore you, Hannah. Oof. It's not even like my neck. It's like the very base of my neck slash the top of my back. You know, where the two converge in between my shoulder blades. Anyway, whew. Jeez Louise. Writing updates. A month ago, I was still working through Cindy's book, determined to finish the rewrites of my old books, which would be the books that I wrote and published under the name Amanda Grace. I think the last one was written in 2018, possibly. So not super long ago when I say old, but like at least 5 years, question mark. Anyway, that aside, yes, I was still working on Cindy's book. I have since decided not to be. I feel like you're not filming for some reason. My anxiety was like, what if it's not filming this whole time? It is though. My brain is not in the same place that it was when I was filming earlier. It's been an hour of like dedicated focus work and also hurting my neck. And now, I'm having to like come back to the present, as it were. Which is actually like going back to the past an hour ago. Yes. I think I was going to tell you the whole story about switching. You can watch the videos of the adventure because I vlog everything. But yes, so I was writing in 2020. I was writing, no, let's go further back. Okay. Apart from one novel that I wrote when I was like 12 to 14 about a missionary in Africa who was also 12 to 14 years old. Apart from that story, the only thing I had ever written was my retelling of the Legend of Robin Hood and then the dystopian stuff that sprinkled in, right? But I spent 8 years writing 7 books in my Robin Hood series. I was immersed in this world. It was everything to me. The dystopian series was like a random spin-off thing that happened, but I was immersed in the Robin Hood, and I loved Robin Hood, and I couldn't stop writing about Robin Hood, okay? It was a whole thing. And then I got to the end of it, so like I wrote the original 5 books, and then I wrote the sequel duology. I was going to say series, and then I switched halfway through it, and this was the thing. Yes, so I wrote the sequel duology, and then it came to a close, presumably. Turns out not, but yes, it came to a close, and then I was like, what do I do with my life? I mean, I had a lot of story ideas. On my Google Drive where I keep everything, I have like 14 million different story ideas and beginnings of drafts, and like, ooh, I could write this type of things. But none of it was like getting a hold of me, right? So I was like, what do I do? I finished Robin Hood, which I've been doing for almost a decade. Like, what do I do with myself now? Had a mini crisis, and then I decided, not because it had my heart, but just because I needed something to do, I decided to write a fantasy series inspired by the Legends of King Arthur. I did this because my sister, who is an English teacher now, at the time was in college as an English major and had done some kind of class where she was learning about the Legends of King Arthur. And she had been like, oh, this is what you should do next when you're done with Robin Hood. And I was like, okay, sure, maybe, I'll think about it. It didn't really, pique my interest, that I remember at least, immediately. I was just sort of like, I guess I'll write that down as an idea. But then I was like, you know what, let's do it. Let's do this thing. So I started my Preptober in like August of 2020 so that I could research the Legends of King Arthur that I was not super familiar with. Not like Robin Hood, where I knew the story. I was like, I don't know what any of this is. So I did, research and watching shows and reading, really ancient things. It was a whole vibe, and it was all vlogged, and you can watch it if you so desire, if you need to catch up on that whole story, if you weren't here 3 years ago. But anyway, yes, so I dove in to this King Arthur thing, and then I fell in love, and I was stuck. I'm not going anywhere, right? This is where I want to be now for the next 8 years. Except it was only two years. I wrote Messiah's book for NaNoWriMo, and then I wrote Lance's book. I don't remember when. I don't know what the timeline was for any of this. Was Lance's book the next NaNoWriMo? I don't know. I should go back and watch my own vlogs, and then I could tell you. I don't have a clue. But in between 2020 and 2022, I wrote Messiah's book, and Lance's book, and the Dragon's book. And then I have at least one more book in the series. Possibly more, but at least one more that I'm planning on. But I paused before writing book 4 in order to rewrite my old books, because I got the idea to do that and was excited about it, so I did it. In all of 2022, I rewrote the Robin Hood books. Loved it. It was great. Also went too fast and possibly stressed myself out, and then was publishing books before they were edited, and it was kind of a disaster, to be honest. But no, it was enjoyable in spite of the disaster, and I'm glad that I did it, and it was worthwhile, and I had fun. Okay, this whole thing. Spent a whole year doing that. So my quick break before I wrote book 4 turned into a year. And then I was like, you know what, as long as we're here, let's just finish. Because my plan was to rewrite all 8 of my old books, which included the dystopian trilogy. So I was like, let's just do it. And then we can get back to my fantasy series that I actually want to be writing, right? So in January of this year, 2023, I was like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to write Cindy and Cassie and Hope, and we're going to be done. So I wrote Cassie, and still had the same, like, yeah, rewriting my old books, finding the real story and the, like, adorable goofiness that young me was writing, polishing it, being able to use all the skills that I've gained, like, things, okay? So it was great. It was magical. And then I got to Cindy's book, and I think it started with the magic still, possibly, question mark. I'd have to go back and rewatch those vlogs. But it faded very quickly, because even as far back as, like, as, like, May of this year, I was kind of over it. It was pulling teeth to write. Occasionally I'd have a day where I did write the normal average amount to get joy out of it and was like, this is lovely. But for the most part, no. I could not with Cindy. It was not happening. Which was kind of stressing me out. I was like, what happened to all my creative genes? They're gone. Yeah. And then we started reading Dear Writer, Are You in Burnout? By Becca Syme in my writing community. And I was like, I don't think I'm in burnout. I know I've been busy and I didn't take my summer break and like things, but I don't think I'm in burnout. And then I switched books. So we have a critique partner situation in the Hedgie house. It's called BFF, Best Feedback Friend. I can't talk. And I have 2 of them already. And I had a third way back when who did Messiah's book with me back in 2021, I think. Anyway, I had one and then she left the Hedgie house and said, okay, I have 2, okay? I have 2 of them. And I love them and they give me different feedback, focus on different things. They're very different people. But I get, value out of both of them and hopefully give value to both of them. Anyway, so yes, there's no shade to them, but I did want a fantasy-specific critique partner for diving back into Messiah's book, because I really do want to write this fantasy series. And when I went through the mindset training and like everything to get into my next BFF, I had it in my head that I wanted someone who was better than me. They know fantasy better than I do. They write at a skill level much higher than mine. Like, I needed an idol, was what I was thinking. I need a mentor. It's not what I got, but I think it's better this way, to be honest. But I built it up and I was like, this is what I'm getting a critique partner for, so that I can shape the fantasy series into what I want it to be. And then I got paired with my favorite human ever. And yes, you'll hear me shout out to Hannah a lot in my recent vlogs. I adore her. She's a perfect fit, and it's just amazing. And we have so much fun together, and also are helping each other with our books and like bringing value to each other in critiquing, and it's just been amazing. Not what I anticipated, but you know what? God knows best. And he was like, I see what you're asking for. I raise you Hannah. So yeah, no, this is like the best pairing that has ever happened to me, ever, in any sense. Not just critique partners, but like just, everything just came together in ways that I had no idea that it would. And we talk about so much more than writing. One of our sessions was just like a let's just talk about Jesus session, and it was so nice. Okay, it wasn't related to writing. In fact, it was. You know what? Because he's a storyteller and parables and what. Listen, it was a whole conversation. I don't need to rehash it. But like, anyway, the point is, it wasn't what I was expecting, but it's so much better. Okay, why am I ranting about Hannah? I don't know. Yes, I do. Back to my story. So, yes, I was in search of a critique partner. I was in search of a critique partner for the fantasy series. And, so before we, realized we were magic together, I had to send her some work, right? So I briefly, played around with chapter 1. Not very seriously. You can see that in a vlog, because I vlog everything. But I just sort of was like, oh yeah, I need to do this and play around and just have a chapter. And it was fun. It wasn't like lazy playing around. It was just sort of like not intense rewriting. Like, I wasn't intentional. I was just kind of like, ooh, fun. I like this story. And I realized that day that I am obsessed with this story, and why did I stop for almost 2 years? What is wrong with me? And then I had a couple of weeks of debate of like, should I finish the project that I started in terms of rewriting all my old books and getting them republished? Or can I just say, screw it, and write the book I actually want to write? This break for Messiah's whole series, it was not supposed to be a 2-year break. This was like entirely accidental, because I overestimate how quickly I can write and publish and whatnot. I was like, rewrite 8 books in a year? Psh, yeah. Turned into not so much. So here we are. I've put Cindy on hold, and we're writing Messiah's book instead. Currently, we're rewriting Messiah's book. Listen, during the 2 weeks of debate where I was like, should I finish what I started? I'm kind of a completist. I need to finish. But then the other half of me was like, but I'm having so much more fun playing with Messiah's book, my one critique partner. Anyway, during that week of debate, I was having so much fun that I decided to send the 2020 original version of Chapter 1 and then the kind of played around with it, Chapter 1, that I sent to Hannah, to my OG critique partner and be like, what are your thoughts? I need to know. And she gave me great thoughts, you guys. And that Monday of listening to her voice notes, like, comments, I had more fun writing that day and, like, being in the world of Messiah than, like, any time I've written in Cindy in the last 2 or 3 months, okay? I was just, like, in love and so hyped and just like, I love this story so much. It was so good. And I felt productive, too, because I was sending chapters and getting feedback and, like, things. It was a whole thing. Anyway, so that really cinched it for me in my debate. I was like, do you see this Monday where all you did was listen to voice notes? And it was, like, the best day ever. So, yes, anyway. I love my critique partners. Both of them. Actually, all three, but the other one is still reading Cindy's book because she's a dear. And I gave her everything that I've written thus far. And was like, have fun! So, hopefully it doesn't read like pulling teeth, I hope. Even though it's kind of how I felt writing. I don't know. Anyway, I might bring her into the Messiah world too, because the Messiah world is much more fun. No shade to Cindy. Listen, at one point in time, the dystopian trilogy did have my heart. And I do intend to honor that and rewrite it and republish it. But I'm gonna have to wait till I feel the nudge to do it again, because boy was it a chore by the end of it. It was not fun anymore. And I don't know what it is about Cindy, but she just went stale in my mouth, okay? Cassie did not. I had a blast with Cassie, and even doing Cassie's chapters in Cindy's book, I was still having a blast. But not with Cindy so much. So, yep. Anyway, all of that is to say, I love my critique partners, all three of them. Don't fight each other. And I love my fantasy series inspired with the Legends of King Arthur. And I'm so glad to be back. So, it's September. Throughout September and into the future, I'm reworking Messiah's story. Slowly, because I don't have a lot of days of productivity because of my preschool job and things. So I really only work Mondays and Fridays, and then if I'm well rested, work on Saturdays and Sundays. If I need rest, just rest on Saturdays and Sundays. So mostly just Mondays and Fridays is when I'm productive now, which is a whole thing. But, yeah. So basically it's slow, but I am okay with it. I've come to terms with the schedule. We're cool. But the point is, it's not fast. So, reworking Messiah. I'm on chapter 2/3 at this point. It's kind of a mess, and I'm reworking things. And you know how rewriting goes. Anyway, so yes, doing that. But I also want to read books 2 and 3, just the first drafts that I have done. Read books 2 and 3, so that I can write book 4 for NaNoWriMo in November. So all of October will probably be reading books 2 and 3, and then outlining book 4. I don't have a POV for book 4, so Messiah's book 1 is just Messiah's POV, and then in book 2 it's Messiah's POV to continue her story, but it's also Lance's POV, because it's actually Lance's book, so he gets more screen time. But we keep Messiah because she was the, one in the book 1, like the readers love Messiah, presumably. I don't know. And so, they can still see Messiah. Also, they go on 2 very different adventures, so you wouldn't know what was happening to Messiah if you don't know Messiah's story. Anyway, okay, so we get both. And then in book 3, I added a 3rd POV, so you still get Lance and you still get Messiah, but now you also get the dragon, which is so much fun, you guys. You have no idea. Okay, and then in book 4, presumably, I will add a 4th character, but I have no idea which character. I know at one point I was considering doing a POV from someone within the Nothian culture, which is the bad guys that we've been fighting for 3 books now. which could be interesting. I don't specifically know any of them, so that would be a blank slate. And then there's like all of the knights and random people that we have gotten to know for 3 books. Could be interesting. I don't know. So we'll see what happens in Preptober. Which of course I will be vlogging, so you can keep up with that entire experience as well. So yeah, that's basically all the writing updates. I am doing rewrites on Mazai's book at a calm, slow pace. And honestly weirdly okay with that, which is abnormal for me, because usually I'm like, lofty goal, do it tomorrow, but we're learning to be more chill and flexible. Anyway, by necessity, you guys. Yeah, so we're reworking Mazai. I feel like a stuck record because my rude. Okay, I don't know when that stops filming. Basically, I think I've given you all the writing and reading and book coaching updates. So now I have to go to the bus stop and get kids from school. Well, not from school, from the bus stop. Anyway, it's all thing. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. This video feels wild because it was like an hour in between pieces of it, and I feel confused about what I did or did not talk about. But that's what you get.